Hello, everybody, and welcome to Atlantic Candid Cooks. I'm Michelle.
I'm Helen.
Here with Mom, and we are ecstatic about our market tour.
We did have a lovely one.
Right? Yesterday, we were at the Buck-Touche Farmers Market. It's about 35 minutes north of Moncton. Well worth the drive up the coastline.
Beautiful.
So many things to see, but we did spend most of our time at the market, and we have so many beautiful things to show you. And today we're going to be featuring a dish that is really traditional. It's called Hodge Podge. And Hodge Podge means a little bit of everything. And it's sort of like one of those dishes that is when you get your early vegetables. For example, those nice baby carrots, potatoes, and we've got some new corn. Oh, it already smells delicious.
It smells good.
And
raw.
Right? Oh, really? I won't eat the corn raw, but I certainly would get into the green and yellow beans raw. So just welcome to everybody on YouTube. Thanks so much for joining us. We've got a 30-minute meal here. And every Sunday, we're bringing you fresh recipes, fresh local. And local is wherever you are. And we were traveling here in New Brunswick, and we've got our great things. We're also going to be using some great local chicken and making some fried chicken or grilled pan chicken to go with this recipe. And I can tell you, I was also taking an adventure in my garden. And look at these gorgeous beet greens. So first of all, we've got some beautiful fresh basil. We're going to use that to top off some recipes today. We've got some fresh parsley that I just picked out of my garden. And then here are these beautiful beet greens. And I'm just going to hold up because we've got a few different types in here. There's your traditional one with the purple and green veining, as we call it. We've got some here that have the yellow beets. And we're going to be putting these together. Look, we've got some garlic hanging off the edge. We're going to be putting these into another dish for you to show you a fast, delicious, healthy, fresh way to have these beet greens. So let's get this started, which we already have a little bit. So we're going to start with our Hodge Podge. And what Mom's already done is she's got a burner on, and inside the pot, we've already put some of our potatoes and our carrots. And this takes about 20 minutes to cook. We put in the bottom of our pot about 1 cup of water because we don't want too much moisture. We want to cook our vegetables through, but we're going to be keeping the liquid, which is very different than when you boil potatoes and drain the liquid. And this is going to build some of those flavors for our Hodge Podge. And I just want to say thank you to the farmers. These are from Les Digues out in the Buck-Touche area. One of my favorite farms to visit. These are beautiful carrots. They smell so amazing. So we're starting with our potatoes and our carrots because they take the longest to cook. So we're going to set a timer on for 10 minutes. I'm going to just cut up these last couple, move my beautiful green onions out of the way. And we're going to cut up these last couple of carrots to go in. And the other thing I'm going to add into my Hodge Podge, and these potatoes are brand new. We're going to keep the skins because they're full of nutrition and they're so thin and they have wonderful flavor. So we're going to keep the skins, and then we're going to cut that. Look at that red potato, how beautiful white the inside is. So Mom, if you can grab the cover off that pot, we're going to add these few ingredients, and hopefully, there we go. Look at that. It's already boiling a bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to add some flavor in as those are cooking. And this is really great because I'm just going to move my beet greens over here. And this is when this wonderful herb And look at how pretty it is. Dill. This is when dill comes into the party. Now, what I'm going to do is I've got my kitchen scissors here, and I'm going to cut off one of the tops, call it the fronds of the dill. We're going to put that over here. And what I'm going to do, and look at this, it looks like a little umbrella. Isn't it beautiful? But we're going to use the top part of these, and we're going to put that in with the potatoes and the carrots, and I'm going to add some onions here. So let's get this in, Mom. We're going to take that pot cover off one more time, and wait till you smell that, Mom. And I'm going to get you to put a little salt and pepper in there too, Mom. Okay. Soon as, and look, it looks like there's a little tree left over. I just used the tops. Look at that, Mom. Yeah. Of that, wow. I can really, really, really smell the dill on my hands. The other thing I'm going to add, and I'm going to add a little bit of this in now, is some of that fresh parsley. And I love parsley because it's sort of one of those herbs that's used everywhere around the world. And I'm going to take this. We're not going to use those stems because the stems are a little harsh. We're going to use the top part in the greenery. And here we go, Mom. We're going to add some of that nice fresh parsley in here. And we want to start to build flavor now. And the other thing I use, and not everybody does, my Aunt Greta was saying today, is I cut up a little bit of celery. And I'm going to put about a handful of this celery in here. And I love it because it adds some more of that flavor. And a couple of the leaves from the celery. And again, that just adds that. I've got that one, Mom. There we go. That pot. Oh, as soon as you take the cover off it, it smells amazing. It's boiling away. So, Mom, if you can watch the timer, because in about 10 minutes, we're going to add a couple of these other ingredients here. So what I have in front of me now, with my cutting board, is we get this beautiful garlic. Now, lots is available from your local farmers markets, but this one's from my garden. So we planted that last year, and we just harvested that in July. And it's absolutely, this is when we need smell-o-vision. The scent of this garlic on my hands is incredible. I am going to use 2 cloves of garlic, and I'm just going to give those a rough chop. Look, the skin comes off those extremely easily. There we go. Woo! Mom, can you smell the garlic from there? Wow, it's incredible, the flavor that's coming out on that. Or the scent, I should say. But I'm sure if I licked my fingers right now, I would be definitely getting the flavor. So there we've got a rough chopped garlic. And we're going to put that in. And again, that's going to really give us some flavor through our Hodge Podge. So when the timer hits 10 minutes, we're going to add, because it's going to cook for an additional 10. We're going to add this beautiful corn on the cob. We pulled off all the outsides, and we've got this, wonderful corn. I'm just going to get a bit bigger piece here. And if you can see, there's some light kernels and some darker kernels. We call that bread and butter or peaches and cream, right? Exactly. So the other ingredient, and I'll tell you, I got to the market late. Don't ever get to the market late. Try to go early. They were all out of snap peas. So what I've done for our amount, I've got our corn here. That's going to go in. That'll take about 10 minutes. That's going to go on the top. But here what I have is these beautiful yellow and green beans. And I'm just going to take those little tiny ends off them. But I'm just going to break the bean in half. This is one of those, I've made this by a campfire before, where maybe I didn't have a lot of knives, so you can just break all your vegetables. This is meant to be a very simple and delicious recipe that is really from that first harvest. So you might only have 5 yellow beans, but you've got 50 green beans, right, Mom? You don't know what's going to go in it.
No, I think we need a little bit more water.
So Mom's going to add a little bit more water. We're going to make sure we add hot water to that because we do have really hot water at our house just because we don't want that to boil out. And that's okay, Mom. I'm also going to add some of that cream here in a few minutes. And the other ingredient that's super traditional is butter. So there we go. We've got all those ends off our beans. And I'm just going to break those in half. Look at that. And those are going to go into our Hodge Podge. I can tell you, it already smells amazing in here. So one of the ingredients that's going to go in at our 10-minute mark, and I'm just going to, I think we have it out here. Here we go. We've got some of our cream. Now, I do like butter, but I'm often one that's using margarine. So I'm going to be using my margarine as a substitute for the butter in this particular recipe. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put a good amount into this pan. So we're going to start to see that creaminess. It smells delicious. And Mom, let's just get that boiled down on a little bit low. And as I said, we're going to be using, I'm using an 18% cream. You can use up to a 35%. That depends on how milky you want yours to be. So we're going to set these back here. These are going to be some of our next ingredients that are ready that are going to go in. I'm going to take these beautiful green onions here. And what I'm going to do, I've already washed those, is I'm going to dice. Look at the size of them. Aren't they incredible? Wow. It's like one could do a recipe that I normally would put 2 in. These we're going to use to top off our recipe. I'm just going to run my knife down the middle of it. It is huge. Thank you to those amazing farmers. Look at that, Mom. 1 onion's going to be enough to do everything. Mom, would you mind getting me just a small bowl? I'm just going to put these in because those are going to use to top off our dish. It just gives it a nice freshness. It looks beautiful. And I think we're going to use a few of these to top off our chicken as well. So, Mom, I have another frying pan on the front. We're going to get our beet greens started. And we're going to get our chicken seasoned. I'm not going to fully cook our chicken at this time because I want to save that for a lunch later. And I want to have that nice fresh chicken. So we're going to get it started. There's the green onions. So this is our topper. Maybe a little Michelle fun. And I've got some of this beautiful parsley, additional parsley. And what I'm going to do with it is I'm going to mix it with the onions. I'm going to chop this parsley up just a tiny bit. This is like what I call fancier Hodge Podge. I have to tell you, those onions, my eyes are watering. Those are strong little green onions. So I am just going to chop this parsley and I'm putting it in with those onions. And I'm going to use a little bit more dill. Get my scissors here. And we're going to cut. There we go. I love the beauty of dill again. So pretty. I'm not going to use quite as many of these fronds in this one. Probably about half. There we go. And this is just a really nice mixture and an herb mixture. And these are wonderful to make to put on a lot of recipes that you have. You can use it as a salad topper. Whatever you like, it's a great addition to your table. But we're going to top our Hodge Podge off with that. So moving over to our beet greens, then the other thing, Mom, I'm going to do is I've got this onion here. And I'm just going to put this onion into 2 parts, here and here, because I'm going to slide a little bit of this into the Hodge Podge. Mom?
Oh, sorry.
Mom's over here taste testing carrots. So that's good. How are they?
Good.
Right? Great flavor in there.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick this up so we can show everybody how pretty this is. Are we at our 10 minutes? I think we are. So we're going to add some cream. I'm going to bring this over to my pot.
Another minute, that's all.
Whoa, look at that facial. Let's have a look. You can see all the beautiful colors on that. So this is a point, what we're going to do is we're going to add our cream in, which I think we put into, there we go, a measuring cup. So I'm going to put 1.5 cups of cream. Wow. Now you see the butter floating in there. And look, a beet green fell in. We'll leave it. It looks good in there. And now let's add those last ingredients. Right? And this is where, there, look at that. Perfect size. And this is where the corn is going to steam. The beans will cook through. And we've got that all in the pot. So we're going to put the cover on that and let that sit for 10 minutes. But of course, Mom, just one more bunch of butter on top. And I think this needs a little bit of salt and pepper. So that's how we top it off. Mom said that she seasoned a bit as we went. So let's get that on that hot burner so that we can enjoy this Hodge Podge. There we go, Mom. That should be, put that cover right on. So we've got our beet greens here, but Mom, if you could pass me that chicken over. The other thing I love about farmers markets is how many beautiful fresh ingredients and lots of seasoning that you can get. And Mom, this is that farmhouse blend by Urban Joy. So we love this because if we put this seasoning on, it has everything that we need.
Exactly.
And again, we're going to top that with some fresh herbs because we're going to have this chicken with our Hodge Podge. So in here, I'm going to tell you what's in the ingredients in this, because if you wanted to make it similar, it's all organic seasoning, which is wonderful. So we've got sea salt, onion, garlic, pepper, thyme, oregano, basil, and parsley. So we have everybody in the party in this particular one. I know it smells amazing. These are dried seasoning where I often use fresh. But remember, we're going to top this chicken off with those fresh herbs. And we've got beautiful fresh vegetables that we're having. So they'll complement each other very well. So these are boneless, skinless chicken thighs. And what I've just done is just flattened them out so that I could get all the surface. And then what I'm going to be doing with this is I'm going to put that beautiful dried seasoning across both sides of it. And I'm putting a good layer because I really want this to be an herbaceous chicken. So you can see there, nicely covered. And I'm just going to flip these over. I'm going to end up with one chicken hand. Mom, can you get me a little bit of a wet paper towel with some soap to wipe this hand? You know, your food is meant to be touched. And I travel around a lot. Yesterday at the market, there was vendors from Colombia, Venezuela, Taiwan, Thailand, Canada, Morocco. And I've learned a lot. Thank you, Mom. Nice. Very soapy, Mom. Good job. No germs here. And I love the fusion of flavors. But cooking with your hands is important. We were meant to touch our food. And it also is grounding. Makes you feel good about everything. So there we go. Now, we're going to fry up one of these to show you what it looks like, and the chef wants to taste test. But I'll be honest with you, this recipe is always better after it's sat a little while. And I think we know how much Michelle loves her pepper. So I'm going to add some fresh cracked pepper just to the other side of these. And then the other thing that I want to do, and it helps before I'm going to cook them as well. So I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil across the top. And then I think Mom has a frying pan on. And we've got 2 frying pans, Mom.
On.
Yeah, perfect. Look, she's so fast.
Already.
We're going to make sure this one's hot. I'm going to hand these over to Mom. And the nice one is, Mom, maybe you can use a small pan for this particular one. We're just going to sear one of these, and they do cook pretty fast. So let's get that on there, Mom. We've got 10 minutes. Get the chicken, and those are perfect.
You want, yeah.
And the beet greens are coming right next. So when we're looking at beet greens, I love my olive oil bottle. Brought that back with me from Morocco. Often when I'm cooking in the kitchen, one of my favorite parts is enjoying some of the things I bought for myself along the way. And it reminds me, and it takes me back to that food memory or the person and the people I was with, and it brings you joy. So don't forget about that. And in the background, I'd be playing music, but we'll make sure that we give you guys some good tunes coming up. Oh, I am having my wonderful Dayab Moroccan coffee. It's my Sunday morning favorite. So here's how fast beet greens cook. First of all, let's have another look at absolutely how beautiful those are. On the end, I have scrubbed the roots really well. And see, there's a couple of little baby beets. And we're going to eat those because those are all clean, healthy. And that's sometimes we call zero waste, or we say root to tip cooking and eating. And a big shout out to Rochelle and all the vendors at the Bucktouche Farmers Market. We do some features with them every year. We're going to do one in October. And we love the zero waste portion of it. So, Mom, I'm going to give you these. She's got some olive oil in the pan. Yep. So we're going to put those. Oh, perfect sizzle.
Snap, crackle, and pop.
Snap, crackle, pop. So the other thing we're going to give Mom is she's going to put a little salt and pepper. Here you go, Mama. Salt and pepper in there. And when we finish cooking those, I'm going to top those off with a little bit of vinegar. And I'm just looking to see which of my vinegars I have here. I think I'm going to have to search in my big vinegar cupboard. But I love using a little bit of an apple cider vinegar. So we're going to pull this dish together here in a few minutes. I love it. We've got all of these fresh ingredients in front of us. This is a great company from Nova Scotia, by the way, and Highland Orchards in Haskap Berry, and it's a concentrate. So I'm going to make a nice cocktail this afternoon with some soda water, ice, and some fresh mint. Absolutely amazing. It's so important that you check out your farmers markets to see the unique ingredients that they have. And again, this is one of them. I love this. This is dehydrated carrot tops. And a lot of zero waste is going on. So we want to use food. And they've dehydrated the top of the carrots. And it's full of nutrients. And honestly, you can add this powder into many recipes. And it's just going to give you more flavor. I'm not putting it in the Hodge Podge though, because I think it might turn it green. And a little note on Hodge Podge is that's going to be coming out here in a couple of seconds. If you think about it, Mom, remember the time I made it with purple potatoes? Well, it turned all the milk purple. So those are, there we go. Those are going to be done in a second. Mom, can you see if the apple cider vinegar is right above your head there? Perfect. I'm going to show you the beet greens as they come out of the pan, and we're going to season those up. Mom's going to pull our other things out here in just a second. And I get these onions everywhere. It's like I'm standing in a farm. Here we go. So those beet greens cook down very quickly. Some people steam them. Also love them steamed. I like putting them in the frying pan because you're going to keep those nutrients in those. And we're going to get that turned over. Here we go. Look at that. Wow. Looks perfect. Already the dye is coming out of the beets. How'd we make out with our vinegar search? Yep. There we go. All right. Look at that. The beets. Smells amazing. And this is like the easy comfort food. Traditional will be putting some butter. Honestly, I'm going to use a little bit of olive oil because it's really perfect with them. And this is a really good apple cider vinegar. And that, honestly, is my favorite way to have these beet greens. And they're going to be delicious. Mom's finishing up that piece of chicken. Let's get our Hodge Podge off. I think that's so close. Oh, just super close to being done. Another couple of minutes. We'll get the chicken out. I'm going to put the chicken here beside my beet greens. And let's talk one last thing as the last minutes are ticking away on our Hodge Podge. Fresh fruit. So we have a lot of fruit here in Atlantic Canada. It tends to be harvested in the month of August into September and some late into the early October, but generally it's late August and September. It's the same thing with our beautiful fresh corn. Our growing season's here a little longer. Ooh. I'm throwing these around. This one's the size of a golf ball. But these are delicious fresh plums that came from one of our local vendors here. The other thing you're going to start to see is apples. So I'm going to put a shout out here to Scow and Belleville Orchard. Get my Scow hat on. But we've got, this is their Haskap, actually, berry cider. So we're going back to that berry season. There's so many blueberries out right now. But this is their apple cranberry fusion sparkling juice. So no alcohol in this one. There is in this one. Go out and see them in Memram Cook, New Brunswick. Right now, you can go out and pick apples and take an amazing tour of their orchards. And also remember, take that drive up through to Bucktouche. And along the side of the road, I promise you, you're going to find some small vendors that are selling maybe their harvest for the day. So take your drive. Support those local businesses that are working really hard. Here we go.
Okay.
I'm going to bring that, and then we'll bring the Hodge Podge over. This is still sizzling. Now, we wouldn't eat this right away. We would let our chicken sit for a second. Mom, that is like absolutely cooked to perfection. Get this over here, out of the way. Wow. So you can picture this afternoon, we're going to have this pan full of all this beautiful grilled chicken. It smells amazing. And my mother got a perfect caramelization on it. Always remember to let your meat rest a little bit, maybe 2 minutes before you cut into it. It's going to keep it fresher. So we're just going to set these right in front of us, Mom. And we're going to bring that Hodge Podge over. Yes, I can, right? This is where we say it's a meal. I'll take those tongs, Mom. This is where it's so amazing because this is where you see when you're cooking for friends and family, it's a whole meal in one. And I feel like, come on over here, Mom. I'm going to have to stand back because
Yeah.
We're probably going to end up with a super facial coming out of this one. Right? We're going to move a few of these things out of the way. We want to say thank you for joining us here today on Atlantic Canada Cooks and doing this tour of our farmers markets with us, because it's just important to get out there and support those. Are we ready, Mom?
hot.
No, it's hot. Wow. I'm going to put this over here out of the way. And I gotta just, those are, look at that. My fork went right through the potato, my fork. Let's stir this up and you can see all the creaminess. And I just want to, smell that, Mom.
Oh gosh.
Right?
Sounds like
Wow.
that to me.
Smells like everything to me. Well, unfortunately, I don't have a spoon. I had one. Oh, here we go. Gotta love it with live show and Michelle rearranges everything. One more stir and I'm gonna hold that up for the camera. Wow.
I know.
I think we know what we're having for breakfast. And there we have it. That amazing Hodge Podge. Hopefully you can see the brightness in the yellow of the corn, those carrots, and Mom, they're absolutely cooked through perfectly. Grab a fork. Look at that. Oh, yeah. Perfectly cooked carrots, potatoes. I think I'm going to taste a bean because I think the carrots are going to be hot. From our kitchens to yours, enjoy local farmers market, fresh food. Thank you so much for coming, everybody. And hi to our Zoom audience. I see we've got guests from Fredericton, we've got Halifax, we have Japan, Morocco. Thank you so much for coming in. St. John, New Brunswick. And to everybody on YouTube, we really value you and appreciate